In today's video, I am talking about the one gigantic mistake that you are no doubt making that when it comes to eating your protein, that is keeping you fat instead of getting you fit. Let's get to it. Hey guys, what's going on? I am Roar Alexander, men's over 40 body transformation coach and host of Barbells To Buddhas, which is the place for guys who want to ditch the dad bod permanently and, as I say, live leaner, stronger, longer, and a heck of a lot better. Now, what does better mean to you? I have no idea, but I know what it means to me. It means feeling good every day when I wake up, jumping up out of bed, excited for the day, traveling, enjoying all amazing foods, not being afraid of eating this or that while still staying stronger and leaner and more pain-free and just feeling great in my late 40s than in my 30s and even in my 20s. And that is the truth. So today, what I really want to touch on is a extremely common mistake that I recently saw yet again. Looks like my night shift is on here, so let's be switching that up really quickly. Relax, making everything look yellow, and I want to make sure I'm looking good for you guys. There we go. And this was from Facebook, a friend on Facebook recently. And I'm going to try to show this to you now. If you're watching this live through my Facebook here, then I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'm going to try showing it to you. If you're watching this on YouTube, then I will graphic this on there. It'll all look great to all of you. But really got me thinking, because this is a mistake that I probably talk to 3, 4, 5 people a week, if not probably at least that, maybe 5 times a week, where I talk to people and they're making this really simple mistake. And actually, I did a TikTok video on it. When I first started doing TikTok, I did a TikTok video. It hit 1.5 million people. So this is something that people make a big mistake on again and again and again. So I was really like, you know what? Let's do a video on it and let's just get it out there and let people understand this common mistake. Now, before I show you the photo, actually, let's talk about protein and why, you want to be taking it, how much you want. So if you are a guy in your 40s or over, honestly, any guy, but I'm going to talk about guys basically 40 and over, you want to make sure that you are getting in a lot of protein. And I mean, guys, a lot of protein. In fact, in your 40s, your 50s, there's 2 things you need. Number one is you need more protein than you're in your 30s and your 20s. Yes, guys, you need more. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, I'm older, I probably need less. All those protein shakes and smoothies, all those crazy things those the 20-year-old bucks are doing. No, you need more. Okay, say it after me. You need more. I need more. Now, we also want to talk about the digestibility of protein because our digestion goes down. So one could argue, and I have argued this, and I see it both ways, that we don't necessarily need more protein than, say, the 20-year-old guys. But what we need is to digest that same amount of protein better. Now, I think it's a combination of both. I would say get stuff to increase your protein intake, but also stuff that can help you digest that protein better. So worst case, what I would suggest is this. Let's say you're just going to do 0.8 grams per pound of body weight to 1 gram per pound. We'll talk about that in a minute. I would say focus on the digestion is probably going to be key. So I would make sure that I'm getting in at least 0.7 to 0.8 grams of protein and digesting it well. So which brings me to how much protein do you need? Now, this is where the confusion can kick in a lot. Sometimes people say you need 1 gram per pound. Other people say gram per lean pound, and I tend to go on that side. And let me explain. Let's say right now you are 60, 70, even 100 pounds overweight. For instance, I got clients that are 300 pounds. Do you need 300 grams of protein? Does all that extra fat weight need protein? No. What needs protein, guys, is your lean tissue. That's your bones, your organs, and your skeletal muscle. That needs protein. So the way I look at it like this, if you have a gut, if you look down and you can't see yourself, if you know what I mean, then whatever it is you weigh, probably, let's say just for worst case, multiply that by 0.7 to 0.8. That is going to give you how many grams of protein that you need. Now, if you are, and depending on, you can go get this test done, if you are, say, below the 20% fat, maybe even below the 15% fat, 15 and lower, 16 and lower, I would say aim for 1 gram per pound. Now, if you're trying to put on muscle, what you could do is go for 1 gram per pound you want to weigh. So let's say you weigh 185 and you want to reach 205. Well, then I'd go up to 205 grams of protein. But that's if you want to put on muscle. That's not most of you. Pretty much you're probably not watching this if that's your goal. Not saying it's not, because I do have clients that want to put on weight. But for the most part, you guys know me. I'm here to help you ditch your dad bod. And that usually means that we're going to lose some weight. So that's what I would do. If you are just fat dude, let's just call it, then you want to go about 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound. So that is going to be, let's say, I don't know if you're, I'm not going to do all the math because I suck at doing math, but you get what I'm saying, right? To 1 gram per pound if you're a leaner guy. So that's where that is. Now, let's talk about the big mistake that I see. And now we're going to get to the photo, okay? And because I said, like, this is just way too common, guys. So this is from a friend on Facebook. There we go. And what does that say? It says started an all protein diet. And yet, what are we seeing? Now, you might be looking at this because I'm going to explain what you just saw. You saw scrambled eggs, and I'm just going to go on a limb because the only information literally I got here was started an all protein diet. But I'm going to go say it's 2 eggs, and I can clearly see I think that's 3 pieces of bacon. Actually, in my example that I'm going to go over, I wrote 2, so let's just say for argument's sake, it's 2 pieces of bacon, 2 eggs, and 3 breakfast links, breakfast sausages. And he called that an all protein diet. Now, why did he say that? And why do you say that? Well, because this is what you're thinking. Well, all 3 of these are meat. They're animal sources. Animal sources are protein. Therefore, this is an all protein diet because it is meat and meat is protein. You are right and you are extremely wrong. So let's just for fun, I did the math over here. Let's for fun take a look at what the actual calories are, because you have to look at everything, guys, from a caloric point of view. We look at everything from total calories, and then we look at the total macronutrients next, which is the total amount of carbohydrates, protein, fats, and maybe perhaps alcohol. So to sum up, this meal was about somewhere between 464 and 524 calories, okay? Protein made up about 36 grams of protein, and fat made up somewhere between 38 and 44. So what we're going to say is this. We're going to go with protein was 36, fat was 38, and then carbohydrates 4 to 7 is negligible. But what I really want to talk about, guys, is the fat and the protein. So here's something you need to understand, because this is where people go wrong, right? So did he get 36 grams of protein in this meal? Yes. But he also got about 38 grams of fat in this meal. Now here's the important part, because you might think, well, that's even. That's about 50-50. That's pretty good. You're talking about the macronutrient numbers. You're not talking about the calorie numbers. Because how many calories are in 1 gram of protein? 4. How many calories are in 1 gram of fat? 9. So that means that this meal, the calories from fat more than doubled the calories from protein. That's a big difference, guys. So this is not an all protein diet. This is actually 66% fat diet, 33% protein diet. And guys, this is a mistake I see all the time. And it could be, this is a very costly mistake. Because let's look at eggs, for instance. And now people get so upset when I talk about eggs. And I really want to make this clear, guys. I buy eggs by the 30s. And I meant to bring it in here. I kind of forgot because I was in a rush. I had to make my kid dinner. So I had all these props that I wanted to brand. For instance, peanut butter and turkey bacon and all this sort of stuff. But I buy eggs by the 30s, almost a week. But one egg, large egg, has, I believe it's 6 grams of protein and about 5 grams of fat. So that means the calories from the egg are more than double fat than they are protein. So if I wanted to get, say, 40 grams of protein from my eggs, which is about, 8 eggs, I'd be getting so much fat, which is, i.e., extra calories. Now, yes, am I getting things like choline? Am I getting all the good nutrients that come in the egg, the lutein, I believe lutein and everything in there, all the other great stuff? Yes, I am, but I'm getting way too much of it. So you got to understand this, and this is what my TikTok video was about, and this is what I'm harp to my clients about all the time. I talk about this in my Live Leaner, Longer, Stronger, and Better workshops. I talk about this in my 21-day kickstarts. I talk about this in my coaching program. I talk about this all the time. I talk about it on my Barbells To Buddhas podcast. There are protein foods, and then there are foods with protein, and you gotta stop confusing those two when you are trying to increase just your protein. So important to understand that. So what makes the difference between a protein food and a food with protein? Well, it's just simple. It's just the percentage of the calories. So an egg, for example, the protein source is very high. It's a very good quality protein, but it's also got a lot of fat. So an egg is a fat food with a good amount of protein. Okay? Bacon is a very fatty food with some protein, but clients all the time, you saw the photo, guys, you saw it. I didn't make that up. It is, a lot. He's eating bacon, thinking it's protein. He's eating sausages, thinking that it's a great source of protein. And I'm not even going to talk about, I'm not here to say whether it's a great source of protein or not a great source of protein. I don't even care about that. I really don't. I don't get into that picky. So that's how simple I am with my coaching programs. I don't get into all the go down the rabbit holes of this and that. I just break things down really simple. I go, you're getting way too much fat if that's what you're doing. Peanut butter is another one, right? I have clients all the time that say, oh, well, I'm increasing my peanuts, I'm increasing my nuts, I'm increasing my peanut butter. I go, dude, it's not even a complete protein, but arguably, let's forget that because you put on some bread, sure, maybe it is, I don't know. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is like 100 calories, and 80% of those calories are fat. There's a lot of fat in that, and there's a little bit, like 1 or 2 grams of protein. Honestly, I wish I brought my container of peanut butter in here, but I didn't. But trust me, it's all fat with a very little bit of protein in it. So what do we want to do? We want to make sure, guys, that the proteins that we are adding are lean proteins. That's it. The majority of its calories, at least 51%. If not more, I would say more, but 51% of its total calories should come from protein if you're going to call it a high protein food. And I would like to see, I'd say that should be like at 70%, 80%, 90%. So let me give you just a few examples of what is a lean source of protein so we can see the difference. Egg whites. So in the morning, I make what I call my muscle McMuffin. Okay, and I use, depending on the day, I'll use 1 or 2 whole eggs, which is somewhere between 6 and 12 grams of protein. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I am 6'4", and I am about 220 pounds. So I need, for myself, like 50 to, I like to do a lot, I like to protein load in the morning, which is another thing I tell my clients. So I'm like 50 to 60 grams of protein in the morning. When I first, and I don't want to say when I first wake up, but my first meal of the day, when I do eat, because I'm not very hungry when I first wake up in the morning, so I'm not about an hour and a half before I eat. Sometimes 2 hours if I go to the gym, but still I eat in the morning. Because the breakfast, guys, and getting your protein in at breakfast, getting your protein in those first couple hours of the day is the most important time, the most important thing you could do over 40 when it comes to your protein. So if you're fasting, if you're pulling this whole fasting till like noon or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock thing, you are screwing up your body. You are screwing up your muscle. You're screwing up your bones. You're messing yourself up. If you are over 40, you want to make sure that you're getting a huge hit of protein first thing in the morning. Now, I'm not saying it has to be like the second you wake up, but I would say with an hour and a half of waking up, especially if you're going to go train in the morning. I like to train in the morning. That hit of protein is so important. Do not put that off. Anyway, getting back to my point though. So I go, okay, well, I need 50 grams of protein. That's like 9 eggs. That's dumb because that would just be way too much fat. Because I want to keep my fat content. I like to keep my fat content at around maximum 30% of my calories for the day. Even sometimes quite often I'll keep it like closer to 25% if I can, even 20 if I'm trying to cut down. But let's argue and let's call it 30% of my calories. So what do? Well, I will have some egg whites. So I will take a big old cup of egg whites, a full cup, and I add it in there. So I have this huge frying pan with 1 or 2 eggs and a ton of egg whites to round it up, because egg whites are all protein. That thing, you look at the calories in that, it's just all protein, pretty much no fat, no carbohydrates. There's not a lot, and this is the thing, this is why people get kind of upset, they get perturbed, because there's not a lot of really solid lean protein sources. Like there are, but there aren't. Now, if you go all around the world and eat all these different animals, you can find some emu, great. Maybe you can find some elk, I don't know. If you're into eating calamari, squid, not deep fried, but like boiled squid, sure. But for the most part, we're talking like, chicken breast, maybe turkey breast, so we'll call them bird breast. Not even extra lean ground beef. That's like, it's still a lot of fat on it. You got to get like the special stuff that you can only buy in the specialty stores. Or you can boil it away. Kind of, that's one of the tricks that I'll do. A protein powder, cans of tuna, whitefish, shrimp, egg whites. There's not a lot of lean protein sources. So for me, and really for my clients, I heavily suggest getting a protein powder. And so many of you haven't had a protein powder since like the 90s. And you're like, oh, they taste terrible. No, they don't. There's the protein I love. I got this cookies and cream protein juice. It tastes like a cookies and cream shake. It's awesome. I love it. If I'm having a Jonesing for something sweet, I'm like, man, I really want a cookie. I want some of this. I want a Pop-Tart. I want whatever. I want to break into my kids' lunch foods. I'll go and I'll have a scoop of my cookies and cream protein, even in some water, and it is so good. Now, saying that, I do usually use some milk with it. Even milk. More calories, I believe. I haven't checked this one out, but I believe it's more calories from carbs than it is from protein still. Chocolate milk for sure. So that's why protein powders, in my opinion, are great, because you can mix them into anything. I can mix them into pancakes. You can mix them into stuff. But making sure, guys, that you're not making the mistake where you're doing a food with protein in it, but with a ton of carbohydrates or a ton of fat. just to bring up your protein, because you're just adding a ton of extra calories. You're just adding more calories, which is defeating the entire purpose of what you're trying to do in the first place, right? Which is get leaner, stronger, live longer, live better, right? Live lighter. So we got to stop making this mistake. Start reading the labels. And I'm going to tell you guys, even this, things like, now if I say, and I'm not saying to not do this because this is what I do, but I'm still going to explain this to you. I use at my house chicken bacon or turkey bacon. Now, a lot of, it's pissed me off, overweight dudes, like, that stuff tastes good. I'd rather not eat bacon. I'm like, whatever, bro, you're 300 pounds, okay? Get over it. It's always the biggest, fattest guys that value nothing but flavor over the medicinal, over the health benefits of things that might not taste quite as good. And I'm not, again, there's two options. Option one is you can switch to something like turkey bacon, which still, by the way, does have more calories from fat than from protein. People don't know that. Again, they're like shocked. They're like, oh my God, I thought it was all protein. I'm like, no, read the back of the package. It's even almost in macros, it's like, 6 protein to 6 fat, but when you do the calories, it's still like a 2 to 1. But unlike real bacon, which is like a 6 to 1, it's a better choice. It is a leaner, lower calorie choice. So things like that, guys, are what you got to look for. So you got to look for things that are going to increase your protein without increasing the other calories. And that's the biggest mistake I see by far. Now, there's 2 things you can do. If you've watched this far, I'm going to give you 2 invitations. Number 1, you want a PDF of my personal leanest forms of protein, including some really cool ones that you might not think of. Then feel free to just say protein anywhere you're watching this. If you're watching this on my Facebook right now, just say it in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, say it in the comments. Wherever you're watching this, say it in the comments, because everything is comments. Just say protein, and I will happily send you a copy of that PDF. It's one list, boom, print it off, black and white, super easy. There you go. Second option is starting on June the 10th. I am hosting my very next Ditch Your DADBOD 21-day Kickstart. Guys, this round is only going to be $97. And that is for 3 weeks, 21 days of solid group and some one-on-one coaching with me. And I've had clients lose anywhere from 7 pounds to 20 pounds in these 21 days. And they've all kept it off. So that is starting on June the 10th. So I'm inviting you to that too. And the way you can do that is you have a couple options. You can comment. Let's see, what should we comment? How about we just comment Kickstart in the comments, and I'll send you some details on that. Or wherever you're watching this, you can also send me a DM. So if you're in a place like YouTube, you're watching this, then just have to, then you honestly, you just have to say in the comments, I think, Kickstart. If you're watching this somewhere where we can interact a little more, like Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're watching this, and you can actually DM me, then DM me Kickstart if you like, and I will send you a link to the sign up for that. So that's it, guys. Just wanted to touch on that because it's a mistake that drives me nuts and that I know is costing so many guys their health and helping them it's not helping them get to losing the dad bods, because it's such a dumb, not calling you dumb, but it's such a dumb mistake. And it's something that we can all solve easy with just a little bit of education. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. And of course, I'm here to help you live leaner, stronger, longer, and a hell of a lot better. Don't forget, what did I say? Protein to get the list, and Kickstart if you want more information on Kickstart. That starts June the 10th, 2024, my next one. So you can start ditching that dad bod and just be as shredded as you can get for this summer. All right, guys, talk to you soon.